There is a stillness here that you can almost hear, a wide quiet held between water and sky. The lake lies pale and patient under a thin skin of thawing ice, and the prairie around it wears the soft tan of last year's grass, waiting for green. Bare oaks stand like dark ink strokes against a washed spring sky, and somewhere out over the water a single call carries a long way. This is a landscape of shallow lakes and hidden wetlands, of restored grassland and old savanna, folded into the gentle country of south-central Minnesota. Welcome to Greenleaf Lake. To find this place, we travel into south-central Minnesota, into Meeker County, a short way from the town of Litchfield. This is the heart of what geographers call the Prairie Pothole region, a broad belt of glacier-worked land where thousands of shallow lakes and marshy hollows freckle the rolling farmland. Greenleaf Lake State Recreation Area sits quietly among them, a pocket of protected water, wetland, and grassland set aside within a working agricultural countryside. It is a smaller and gentler kind of destination, and that is its charm. Come along and let the pace slow. Greenleaf is not a place of dramatic peaks or roaring rivers. It is a place that rewards patience, where the story is written in low horizons, in the shine of open water, and in the wind moving through grass. This route carries us along the edge of the lake and out across the recovering prairie, and each turn opens another quiet view. To understand what we are seeing, it helps to go back to the ice that shaped all of it. Everything here begins with the glaciers. Thousands of years ago, great sheets of ice ground southward across this region, then paused, melted, and retreated. As they withdrew, they left behind a rumpled blanket of sand, gravel, and clay, and they buried enormous blocks of stranded ice within it. When those blocks finally melted, the ground above them sagged into rounded basins. Those basins became the shallow lakes and marshes that define this country. Greenleaf Lake itself rests in one such glacial hollow, a lasting signature of ice that vanished long ago. Look across this landscape and you begin to see a pattern, a scattering of small waters set in low ground. These are the prairie potholes, and they are far more than puddles. Each shallow basin gathers snowmelt and rain, holding it through the changing seasons. Together, they form one of the richest wetland systems on the continent, a nursery for countless living things. Here, the water is not a single grand feature, but a mosaic of many, and the trail leads us past reedy margins where the boundary between land and lake is soft and always shifting. Before the plows came, tallgrass prairie rolled across this region in an unbroken sea, deep-rooted and endlessly deep. Most of it was turned to farmland generations ago, and true native prairie is now among the rarest of landscapes. Within this recreation area, though, grassland is being coaxed back. What we see now in early spring is the tan and amber of dormant stems, brittle and bent from winter. Beneath them, unseen, lie roots that reach far down into the soil, and with the warming days, that whole hidden world will rise again into green and bloom. Where prairie meets woodland, a third landscape appears, the oak savanna. Here scattered oaks stand widely spaced above the grass, their crowns broad and open, their trunks dark and deeply furrowed. This is a threshold country, neither dense forest nor open plain, and it was once shaped by fire moving through the grasses. In the bare light of early spring, the oaks are still leafless, their bark rough against the pale sky, and the trail leads us beneath them where sunlight falls unbroken to the ground. Out on the lake, the season is turning. The ice that held the water all winter is loosening now, going gray and porous at the edges, opening into dark leads of free water near the shore. This is the fragile hinge of the year, the moment when winter gives way. The light off the thinning ice is soft and shifting, and the whole surface seems to breathe. Along the margin, the trail follows the shoreline, and from here we can watch the slow, patient work of spring undoing the cold. These waters are not empty. The prairie pothole country is one of the great birthplaces of waterfowl in North America, and in spring the basins fill with returning travelers. Ducks and geese ride the thaw northward, resting and feeding on the newly open water, and their calls drift across the marsh at dawn and dusk. For migrating birds, this scattering of shallow lakes is a chain of resting places across the continent. To stand here quietly is to sit beside one of the oldest journeys on the planet, played out again with every turning spring. Long before any of these boundaries were drawn, this was and remains Dakota Homeland. For generations, the Dakota people lived across this region of lakes and prairie, moving with the seasons, drawing life from its waters, its grasslands, and its game. The land we travel through today holds that deep history, layered beneath the recent story of farms and fences. It is right to move through it with respect, remembering that this quiet country was known, named, and cared for long before it appeared on any settler's map. The 19th century brought profound and painful change to this region. As Euro-American settlement pushed westward, treaties and broken promises strained the Dakota nation, and in 1862, the tensions erupted into the U.S.-Dakota War, a conflict that swept across this part of Minnesota with lasting sorrow for many. The full weight of that history reaches beyond what a single visit can hold. Here we simply acknowledge it, standing on ground that carries both beauty and grief, and we let the quiet of the place make room for remembrance. In the decades that followed, Euro-American farmers arrived in growing numbers, drawn by the deep prairie soil. They broke the tall grass with heavy plows, drained the wetlands, and squared the rolling land into fields. Meeker County took shape in this era of the mid to late 1800s, its farmsteads and fence lines spreading across the old prairie. The countryside we pass through now, a patchwork of cropland surrounding these protected acres, was largely made in that time, a landscape reshaped by hand and horse and iron. Nearby stands the town of Litchfield, the seat of Meeker County. Like many towns of the region, it grew up along the railroad in the later 1800s, a gathering place for the surrounding farms, with a grid of streets, a courthouse square and grain moving out along the tracks. Towns like this became the anchors of prairie life, the places where scattered homesteads came together to trade, to worship, and to build a shared future. Greenleaf Lake lies within easy reach of that community, a natural refuge close to settled ground. Today, this land is cared for by the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, which manages the recreation area to protect its prairie and its lake habitat. Much of the work here is restoration, the patient labor of bringing native grassland back to fields once plowed and returning health to the wetlands. It is slow and unglamorous work, measured in seasons and in generations, but it is how a landscape heals. What surrounds us here is not untouched wilderness, but something perhaps more hopeful, a place being deliberately given back to the prairie. And so we come to what Greenleaf really offers. It is not spectacle. It is stillness, the wide, unhurried quiet of open water and open sky, of grass bending in a cool spring wind. Here the value lies in the small and the subtle, in the shine of thawing ice, in the call of a returning bird, in the honest tan of a prairie waiting to turn green. This route asks nothing of us but attention, and it gives back a rare and gentle peace, the kind found only in places allowed to remain quiet. As the light lengthens over the water, we leave Greenleaf much as we found it, hushed and patient beneath its wide Minnesota sky, a small refuge of ice-born lake and returning prairie carrying a very long story. Thank you for watching. Follow for more interesting people, places, and things we cover on the channel.